How we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi, your CBD guy. We are here today with Frank Arriaga. He is running for city council at large. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself and why you should vote for him. Frank?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Frank Arriaga here, city council at large candidate. I was born and raised in Corpus Christi, Texas. Attended Holy Family Elementary School, Windshield Middle School, and W.B. Ray High School, class of 2003. I've spent my life here in Corpus Christi in the small business community, working on small business development. I'm a small business owner. I have a couple partners. We own the Corpus Christi Wine Festival. It's a local event that we put together about 4 years ago to raise money for local nonprofits. Proud to say we've donated over $40,000 to local nonprofit organizations over the first 4 years from the proceeds of that event. And so very much involved in the community. Aside from things like that, I'm a volunteer for an organization called the National Hispanic Institute. We don't only work with Hispanic kids, we work with kids from all walks of life and all religious backgrounds. The goal of the organization is to identify high school age kids with strong leadership potential and try to arm them and help them improve essential skills that are going to make them better leaders. We couple that training with kind of exposure to Corpus Christi, the local university, and some of the things that are happening in local politics and whatnot, so that they can start to get an idea of the climate. And the idea is to hopefully encourage them to come back and serve in this community, like someone like me. There's a dozen or more, other examples of local professionals in this town who are alumni from the organization that have come back to lead. As somebody that's from here, I think that it's important that we capture as much of our local talent as possible, because they're the ones that understand the issues the best. They're the ones that have seen them over the years. And my hope is to continue to fuel that pipeline of local leadership so that we can be better and more responsive to the needs of all Corpus Christi residents. As far as things I want to focus on during this election, I think infrastructure is a major conversation that everybody's having right now. We have some big decisions to make that are going to impact how the city grows and develops over the next 10, 20, 30 years. We've actually seen, those of us who are from here and been here, development and growth and population growth that we haven't seen really ever in our lifetime for many of us who are younger voters. The fact that that's the case only lends to the reality that we have to be proactive and be less reactive. I feel that Corpus Christi's gotten such a bad rap for being behind the eight ball on so many different issues. We've kicked a lot of cans down the road and failed to invest in our infrastructure. The maintenance plans haven't been there. And while we've made some good progress the past couple years at trying to shore some of those deficiencies up, the reality is there's still a lot of work to be done. We have a $1 billion budget. The city of San Antonio has a $3 billion budget. They're a much larger city than we are. And so when you factor in the cost that it's taking for us to operate our city, we have to be real about the way that we look at spending dollars. So my hope is, as somebody with a small business background, is to look at these budgets and look at these departments and work closely with the city manager and the rest of the council. It takes a team to accomplish things. And so we can't just go out there thinking that we're going to do it by ourselves. Working together, we can make sure that we're being efficient and we're approaching the use of technology in a way that allows us to be more productive. Work smarter, not harder is what comes to mind from what my grandpa used to teach us. So, again, the taxpayer dollar, there's a lot of pressure on the rates right now because of the infrastructure problems. The city just got sued by the EPA on Friday. So we're looking at $1.136 million that we have to pay within the next 60 days. If we don't pay it in the next 60 days, we're going to be fined somewhere between $500 to $3,000 a day, depending on how much more time it takes us past the deadline to pay to square up with the government. So those are direct impacts to your rates for your water bill, your utility bills. That increases the tax rates most likely. So we can't allow neglect and inaction to dictate the cost of living in Corpus Christi if we want to take growth seriously. So my goal is to go in there and have these difficult discussions. The reality is, if any candidate tells you that they're going to give you all these police officers and all these roads and a water solution and everything, and nothing's going to raise, and you're not going to have to pay anything else additional, that's a pie in the sky mentality. The reality is that we're going to have to make tough decisions, which is why it's important that we have people in there that are data driven, that are going to crunch the numbers, they're going to find out what's the best way to make a deal for the city of Corpus Christi's taxpayers and residents. I promise to do that for you if given the opportunity. My campaign platform, one of the primary platform points is transparency. I think that the general public should be well informed on what's going on in City Hall. They should understand that there are different options when it comes to some of these major infrastructure projects, and be well informed as to why some of the options are better than others. And we'll talk about that briefly as well. Besides transparency, I also want to make sure that we are, like I mentioned, working on efficiency tools, efficiency protocols. I applaud the city for making capital investments in equipment that will allow us to build roads ourselves as opposed to contracting them out. Those are the kinds of things that we should be doing more of. When we pay a contractor to do something, it immediately increases the cost of doing it because we pay that contractor fee on top of it. If we can do this in-house and reduce those fees where able and where it makes sense, it's going to make our taxpayer dollars stretch further in the long run. We were doing the pothole repairs wrong for so many years, and they finally figured out how to do it properly. Another shout out to the city manager and the city staff for doing good work there. That's an example of being proactive and not reactive. For many years, we had no maintenance plan. We had no training, no equipment for our own city employees to go out and do these things. And consequently, we effectively waited for roads to fall apart to the point of needing to be replaced completely. Well, it's no secret that having to replace a road completely is going to cost us significantly more than what it costs us to maintain them properly. So one thing I will say positively about the work that's been done is the past 3 budgets have allocated more money for residential roads and street repairs than ever have been the case. So again, an example of progress in the right direction, but we have to do more, and we got to do it right. Many people aren't aware that the street user fee that was implemented a couple years ago was actually collected for a full year and never actually appropriated. So the money just sat there in the budget, kind of collecting whatever interest rate the savings accounts are paying these days. Whoop-de-doo. Meanwhile, we're getting beat up on the roads with all the potholes and dealing with the issues as citizens and taxpayers that quite frankly, should have been addressed with the money that we put on the table. We agreed to it. It happened. We did our part, but the city didn't do theirs. That kind of negligence is not acceptable. It has been addressed. There's been some accountability applied. But it's just another example of the fact that it's going to take people in there that are willing to dig into the details. Somebody like me with business experience, small business experience, where every single dollar counts towards the bottom line. I want to work for the city of Corpus Christi because I believe in our future. I believe that we have the best community to grow in the state of Texas. I think that people will begin to get tired of the sprawl and the cost of living in some of the larger communities, and they're going to want to take advantage of coastal real estate that is affordable compared to other U.S. markets in the business-friendly state of Texas. If we are smart about how we approach infrastructure and we don't put the cart before the horse, we will position ourselves to be more competitive in the state job market when it comes to competing for new industry that will help us diversify the tax base. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. I'm a candidate that you're not as aware of or familiar with. I've never run for office. I think we need new ideas. I think we need new blood and new energy. We need people that are going to go out there and work for the everyday citizen and taxpayer. I believe that being a new candidate gives me an advantage because I don't have the expectations that some of the other candidates might have from having been in office before or having served for many years. I applaud that level of public service and look forward to doing to serving the community as well. But right now I'm not focused on anything else other than being a steward of the taxpayer dollars and helping us develop a strong strategic plan that's going to ensure that we can keep the best and brightest kids from our local community and remain competitive for out-of-city jobs that are looking for new homes.
What's some of the best ways to get a hold of you?
So, best way to get a hold of me is www.frankarriaga.com is our website. We have a Facebook page that's Frank Arriaga Jr. for City Council at Large. You're welcome to contact me via cell phone. That's 361-779-7326 or via email at efrain361@gmail.com. That's EFRAIN361@gmail.com. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank the Common Man for putting this on. We look forward to the debate on Saturday so we can share our ideas with the voters of Corpus Christi. Hope to have full participation. And thank you again. We ask you for your vote on October 13th, is when early voting begins. If you can't make it early, November 3rd, we'll be looking forward to your support. Have a great day.
Thanks, Frank.